was a special day in Ann Arbor yesterday, Mark. It really was. To start, just the atmosphere in the big house was unlike anything I've ever experienced. I'm only 29, so I'm still somewhat young, and there were a lot of good years of Michigan football before I was born and when I was a little youngster. But I've talked to some people that are a little bit older and have been to those old games too, and they said yesterday was up there with them. And it was, it was just every single person was on their feet from the start to the finish on every single play. It didn't matter if it was a big fourth down or 2nd and 4 in the first quarter. It just really didn't matter. And so these fans that have been waiting for this moment for so long, they definitely enjoyed it in Ann Arbor. That's for sure.
Justin, this makes me feel old, but I'm going to state it and put it in perspective because I think it does put it into context. You're 29. Again, Michigan won this game in 2011. I'm not discounting that game, but it did not mean a Big Ten championship. The last time Michigan beat Ohio State, there was the 100-year anniversary of the game in 2003 as Michigan beat a defending national champion Ohio State team and went on to the Rose Bowl, won the Big Ten championship in 2003. So to me, I'm an old guy. That seems like, it was a few years ago. You were 11.
I was in middle school. It was a different lifetime for me. Even in 2011 feels like a different lifetime. It's a decade. So yeah, it's I haven't experienced this as an adult, before, which is a different feeling. So I think you said it. It is one of those things that we all thought and we knew at some point it had to happen. We never knew when, but at some point it had to happen. Everything aligned yesterday to make it happen. And quite honestly, Michigan kicked their ass. Michigan dominated that football game from start to finish. And outside of a few minor mistakes, obviously the interception being one of them, everybody on Michigan's team played well throughout that entire game.
Yeah, so I must have sounded like a broken record, and I probably said this to you, and I think you agreed because it's fairly obvious analysis that the two ingredients that I saw that were paramount to a Michigan win were on defense, Aiden Hutchinson, David Ajabo, and the rest of the front seven. I just don't want to single those two out. But, of course, Hutchinson was just a beast, a monster. Get to C.J. Stroud. Now, it's with 50 passes thrown, you're not going to get to him every time. But consistently move him off platform, get to him, harass him, hurry him, do all those things. So a consistent pass rush. And then number two on offense, just beat Hassan Haskins time and time again into the line over and over. And that, for as good as he was, which he was exceptional, that Michigan offensive line was incredible.
They deserve all the praise that they are getting. They probably deserve, as a group, the MVP of this game. You're going to probably give it to Hassan Haskins because he had 5 touchdowns, which is crazy to think about 5 touchdowns for one player in this game. But that offensive line was the reason for it for the most part. Haskins was incredible in getting yards after contact too and breaking it open, finding the hole. No negative rushes throughout the entire day. But the real reason was because he was getting a gigantic push in big holes by that offensive line. And so you have to shout them out. They're going to – every one of those guys is probably going to have a chance at the NFL. But I do have to talk about Andrew Vistardis, who came from being a walk-on to not a great offensive lineman even last year as the starting center. All of a sudden, he has taken his play to the next level, being a captain and leading this offense, in the trenches. And it was really impressive to see that offensive line. I mean, isn't that just music to Jim Harbaugh's ears? That's exactly how he wanted to beat Ohio State for the past 7 years.